Test, 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 test. Hey, Patty, can you hear us? Patricia Jett? Okay, mute yourself. Just go ahead and mute yourself. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Hey, Caesar. Was there anyone besides Patty that we're moving in?
No, Gulf Coast Transit is here and SPDC.
Okay, cool.
So they signed up to speak on the public remarks. So
Okay.
technically we're not on the speaking part of the agenda.
No, it's fine. Okay. Actually, let me go grab that.
I just told me, don't look at it. Hey, you guys, talk about being lucky. With my couple, I lived with 3 murders in the past year. So.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that. Worst we have is teenagers, take it apart for 2.
They know they're gonna.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. They can talk at the agenda.
How things over on Cedar Drive?
Pardon?
How things over on Cedar Drive?
Doing great. Great. I'm working out with the fire marshal here. With the electric gate.
Good.
Hey, Darren. Patty's on the line. Do you have any questions about her items? She's on the road. I think hers is a little bit.
Yeah, right.
So do we have a quorum on the call to order the KCDC special meeting agenda, June 3rd, 2025, 6 p.m. Pledges. Isaac, you gonna lead us? You doing it in Spanish?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one day, under God, one nation.
Next on the agenda is a moment of silence. Thank you. Invitation to address the board. I think Tim Sykes is first. You're on an agenda item, so you can talk during the agenda item or you can talk now, either or. You got, if you'd like to introduce yourself and talk, you're more than welcome. Just turn the mic on.
Good evening, Mayor, City Administrator, and council members, community stakeholders. My name is Tim Sykes. I am the Public Affairs Specialist for Gulf Coast Transit District here tonight with our colleagues, our Executive Director, Ted Ross, and our Deputy Executive Director, Lacey Hernandez, and Marcus is our Director of Transportation, and Ms. Gay is our Administrator, Office Manager. But we're here tonight to just kind of give you a brief overview of Gulf Coast Transit District and the services that we provide for Galveston and Brazoria counties. We are a public transportation agency, and our services are designed to increase mobility, ensure equitable access, and provide cost savings options for all rounders, especially seniors, veterans, and students, and individuals with disabilities. So we have a in-zone trips within the Rambler zone. So if a city becomes a support city, the Rambler and regular fares is $1 per one-way trip. Seniors, students, and disabled persons RAF for 50 cents per trip one way, and children 6 and under RAF free with a parent or guardian. Our service hours are Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then we have what's called an out of zone for like chemo currently. Out of zone, you 48 hours advance booking, and you can do it up to 7 days out. And it's $2 for the first 10 miles and 25 cents per additional mile. So we have a specialized service where we do veterans, which medical transport to the VA hospital in Houston, Texas. And that service is $3.50 per one-way trip. All of our services are booked through an app that they can download, similar to Uber and Lyft, and or they can still call our 1-800 number and book the ride. It's a door-to-door service, curb service, and it is a shared ride service. With the VA, we take them to, like I say, Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center, and in that area is also Houston Methodist and Fannin Towers, so there's other options for them in that area. We also provide a park and ride service from Galveston UTMB to League City UTMB with a stop in between in Texas City. And so the Texas City park and ride is $2 one way. League City park and ride is $4 one way, and it connects to UTMB Galveston to League City. We have been around for quite some time, and we're not strangers to public transportation. We were instituted and organized by the Brazoria County Commissioners Court and the Galveston County Commissioners Court. We have fair coupons and discounts and I'll leave these brochures for you all to see our services. We have discount books for senior students and persons with disabilities, and we also have a park and ride coupon book. Now, the community impact and the call to action is that these transit services are not only affordable, but they're essential to low-income individuals, elderly residents, and veterans seeking medical care, and working-class individuals without vehicles. The good thing about us is our rates don't increase. We don't make money on ridership. We're grant-funded by 4 different sources. We encourage KEMA support and promotion of these programs through our community information and website, and senior centers and churches, city hall information kiosks. And like I said, I'll leave more information for you. And I'll be glad to come back and conduct town hall meetings at various places throughout KEMA, as I do in San Leon and Bay Cliff and Dickinson. We do currently still provide services in KEMA, but it's not the same day like booking service. So, and any questions that you all may have for me, I'll be glad to answer.
We'll hold questions to the agenda item, so if you
Okay.
don't mind, we'll wait till the agenda item.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tim.
All right.
Next on the list is Amy Reed? Amy? Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure. Okay. Number 5, proclamations, presentations, awards, and community spotlights. Recognizing awards presented to Isaac Saldana, former president of KCDC board. You want to go up front?
You want me to?
Yeah, I'll make it's a big deal.
Yes.
You want to come with me?
We'll just let you.
All right.
Get out, get out.
Yeah, you got some pictures? You bring a camera?
I'm notorious for cutting people's heads off.
That's why you wear a starch shirt and everything.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Well, we just want to say thank you for your 4 years being a president. I know how much work is entailed in this, and this is just a small appreciation for everything you've done for KCDC. So, it's not for me.
I'll squeeze in a little bit with the camera here. 1, 2, 3.
No flash. Any flash.
Well,
bunch of candy for everyone.
It's not
Sorry
me.
about that. Squeeze you in there. Thank you.
You want to take a moment to open it? Sure. Might go ahead and take another picture.
Burping?
It's not legal. It's not legal. And don't break it. Natasha will kill us both.
He does, he does.
Yeah. Do not break it.
Lay it down flat. 'Cause you're spearing.
Holy cow, what is, wow. Whoa, that's awesome. If I rub it, will the genie come out?
You only get 2 wishes.
That's actually
Before you
pretty
leave
awesome.
today, we're gonna get another picture with that.
Awesome, man, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate your service. You've been on here, what, 10 years?
I think it's, yeah, about,
You give 10 years next February, so.
yeah. It was
It's a long
6
run.
It was 6 years originally and then, 4 years.
Item number 6, board members' comments. Let's start with Dustin.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. Let's just get this going. That's all I got.
No comment at this time.
Not for me, it's good to work.
I'd just like to give a quick update on the linear park. We had a chance to walk from Bell all the way up to 6th Street, look at the areas around the boat ramp and where the new construction is. TxDOT is going to restore that land for us. At what level, we're not really sure. So we went and walked it, looked at it, and thought about what are all the options that we could do with the space. We put together a report for LJA, and we're going to meet with them on Monday afternoon to go walk it again and look at all the options for what we can and can't do. At this point, there were some discussions about doing pickleball courts and things like that. But when you actually walk that property, you realize there's no way to get people on and off those medians in any safe way. So it's really just about landscaping. When we look at the area where the boat ramp is, we've got questions for TxDOT and LJA about whether TxDOT is going to bulkhead the water edge areas there, whether they're going to agree to pave or at least put gravel down where the new bridge is, which gives a huge amount of area for events and emergency vehicle placement whenever necessary, things like that. So we're going to meet with LJA and go through it with them. The one big option we have all talked about was lighting under the bridge, because mainly the main reason for that area, or the main use of that area, is going to be the mixed use path going from down here all the way up to 6th Street. And if you look at a lot of cities have done under lighting on the overpasses, LEDs, which you can do different colors for Christmas or holidays, other holidays. And so we have some options here, but we're going to meet with them, come up with some options, and then get together with council about what we think is the best option.
Thank you for the update.
You bet.
Jacqueline?
No comment.
Okay. President's comments. Just thank everybody for coming out tonight. Appreciate seeing the attendance. I'll just leave it pretty short. I want to make this meeting as short as possible tonight. 8, city administrator report.
Yes, thank you. To the entire members of the board, residents who are present, partners and staff. First item we have to go over is discussion on items going to be on council's agenda tomorrow. We opened up a proposal opportunity for anybody who want to do any event, any type of promotion or anything throughout city property. A few months ago, kind of just a shot in the dark and see what we would get. We did get one proposal already. It seems like a pretty decent proposal that will be coming before council tomorrow for review, because it would be on city property. And the idea, one of the things we talked about through KCDC was creating more traffic, creating more visitation, and creating more bodies coming to and from. So we looked at the low peak times, looked at some ways of trying to capitalize on that. We do know that we've made some efforts to create some market space throughout the entire city. And this proposal capitalizes on that. The question came up is, how are we going to capitalize on any potential sales tax? The idea would be is if it's regular food being sold as a farmer's market, obviously that food, that's not taxable. But the fact that if there was any artisan crafts or anything else of that nature, that would be taxable and it'd be hard to manage. One of the caveats that we looked at through the proposal was just charging a blanket rate for as many booths as are present, obviously not charging for nonprofit booths. So that's where we are. That's what we're coming forward to council tomorrow. The idea is to create several themed markets throughout the entire year, again, to create traffic and to get the buzz going towards that downtown district a little bit earlier on Saturdays and or Sundays. So there's a lot of different themed events, bubble markets, and mimosa markets was one that kind of stood out that some folks would probably like appreciate to have on either Saturday or Sunday morning. So just to create a little bit more of an ambiance, create a little bit more of a destination for Kemah in its non-traditional times to try to maximize on the fact that there are discretionary funds being spent during Saturdays and Sundays, but this would try to get people to Kemah a little bit earlier on some of those days and on holidays, obviously. It was just discussion information, making you guys aware of something that was happening that was indirectly involved with KCDC.
I read the proposal. I thought it was pretty good.
They were pretty thorough on it. So I wanted to close it and make sure everybody had that possibility of doing that. We will be bringing it to council and making sure that we address it. Everything's a trial. Everything's a pilot program. We're going to start it and see how it goes. It needs to be mutually beneficial, obviously. But the idea is for it to not hurt our current businesses, but hopefully enhance them and hopefully provide some more foot traffic during those times.
And do you mind giving an update on the phase 7 of 57 Acre Park? I know me and Isaac were on that meeting, but I'd like everybody else to be aware where we're at, where we're.
Certainly. We did have a meeting with members of LJA. Steps are being done to get the proposal documents put in. We do know Meritage was going to pay for their portion of that project as well. We are looking into potentially wrapping some of those funds that would have come out of KCDC and or city funds through a grant proposal that is actually due tomorrow. So be late here tonight and tomorrow finishing that one. But the general consensus would be for us to wrap up as much as we can into that grant proposal. If not, we would start with Meritage's portion first, and then we would continue the rest of the phase through bringing that to you for proposed spending as part of the original project that you wanted to do anyways. We are pretty close to being finalized. I did see another email on that where that is moving forward as far as getting some pricing down. Then we would separate the difference between the two parties. But Meritage stays committed to paying for a portion of that project that would offer that connectivity.
Anybody have any questions for Caesar before we move on?
I did want to acknowledge some of our guests that are here. Chief is also here. He and I had a meeting with members of the Huntington, and we will touch on that slightly when we start that portion of the presentation. But I'd also be remiss if we didn't have an opportunity to acknowledge the fact that we went to the ICSC conference. It was a very, very, very busy conference. Lots to do, lots to see, a lot of folks to meet. We did have a meeting as far as strategizing how we're going to extrapolate some of the information and context that we all made. But we've already gotten some phone calls and some folks that want to come down and visit. So there was enough of buzz created. So kudos to everybody for their efforts in that. And we're hopeful to keep seeing the efforts of that trip for years to come.
And thank you, Isaac and Dustin, for taking your personal time to do that. Much appreciated. Anything else? Anybody have any questions?
Not until the agenda items, no, sir.
Okay, moving on to item number 9, KCDC Executive Director Report. Ronnie?
Nothing to report.
Item 10, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from 4:15 KCDC regular meeting, 10B approval of minutes for the 5/7/25 KCDC special meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I have a first by Isaac, a second by Tom. All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving right along. Item number 11, considering possible action items, 11A, budget kickoff meeting. Ryan?
It's that time of year again, everybody. We got a little sheet here, kind of showing the last few years where we're at the moment right now. It's not going to be on the screen. But we're in a weird spot where most of our projects will be wrapped up in this fiscal year, with our fingers crossed, as long as nothing crazy happens. And so we're going to have a kind of a fresh start next year. So I'm just kind of looking for the guidance on what projects y'all want to kick off in the upcoming fiscal year. So to start putting the big dollar numbers into this spreadsheet here, I'll bring it up.
What's our deadline for that?
You have council by August, right?
I try to get it all on one page and cut off all
We're just thinking.
the tops. And that's all done, so I can't word it in real fast, you know.
Thank you, sir.
But we'll go over line items at any time.
What our goal right now is to solicit any projects that you would like to see in the next fiscal year, areas of focus, thank you, sir. Any areas of focus that you would like for us to start turning towards, whether it's wrapping up certain projects. As Ryan mentioned, a lot of your projects that you have started are planning on ending this year, or hopefully before the end of the fiscal year. So your Anders project is near closeout, and just about Evergreen, and just about everything is either at closeout or near closeout, with 6th Street still pending, obviously 57 Acre Park still pending. So a lot of areas are still pending when it comes to that, but nothing that we can say concrete for a 57 Acre Park. We would need direction and say, hey, this year we hope to accomplish phases. Let's finish phase 3 and let's get phase 7 done, right? Because that's the one with the sidewalks. We would need that direction to formulate what you want that budget to look like. If it's going to be the linear park design, if we get back that, yeah, we'll only pay for a portion of it. Well, we need to, if we want certain aspects of it, we need to pay X, Y, and Z dollars towards that. Those are some of the aspects. So what we'd like to do tonight is to plant the seed for some projects that you may want to look at into the next fiscal year, but also get your wheels turning on what we'd like to see first. We've talked about the strategic plan. This is where we focus that in. Yeah, we definitely want to see that happen. All right, well, let's put a budget number to that, not to exceed X amount of dollars. Or, hey, we want to see something on 6th Street. Well, what would that look like? Hey, we want to focus on the linear park. Whatever it might be that you want to see, this would be the time to set some priorities. Not tonight, but just to plant the seed and start that discussion for you to bring back.
You want to hear some of those? I got them right here.
I mean, it is open forum.
I'm just real quick, just want to address something that Tom said. I think what you're doing is great, and I think we probably should work on those things. I have had extensive talks with TxDOT about the boat ramp area. They've said they were going to put it back the way it originally was. The way it originally was it had bulkhead all the way down to the point there at the old bridge, or where the new bridge is now. They're not going to do that. There was a lot of bad words said to each other about that because they didn't want to do it. So, but I do think it would be diligent on our part to plan on bulkheading that. Actually, it's funny you brought it up because I went and looked at it yesterday. I just happened to be in the golf cart and I drove over.
Yeah, you got to do it.
And so I just went and looked from where the boat ramp is. If you're standing in front of the boat ramp, you're looking at the water. Where the boat ramp goes all the way left, that whole line should be bulkheaded, which means you probably should dredge it also so that boats could park along there. I think it'd be a good spot for boats to come in like during 4th of July or whatever, park there and come enjoy Keyman and get back on the boats and leave. And then if you stand in front of the boat ramp and look right to the channel, there's like a marsh area that should also be bulkheaded in and filled in and become park space. That's the plan.
Yeah.
And the master park plan. The reason I say work on it now is because that's going to take a long permit process, and you should start now because no telling when we're ever going to get the permit for the boat ramp.
Yeah, there's a lot of parties involved.
But if you started that now, it's an expensive thing. But if you started now and planning for it now, by the time you're ready to do it, you could have saved the money to do it already.
When it comes to the boat ramp, I understand TxDOT had assigned the Army Corps to start working on that project, but we all know the speed at which, respectfully, that they operate. It may or may not happen during this next fiscal year. I don't know.
It's not going to happen.
But I will find out. I mean, again, what we're talking about
It's about
now.
a 3-year thing.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're talking about doing that we've done citywide is creating a capital improvement project. So if there's a certain street that you'd like to see done, if there's a certain, anything you want to see, putting together a capital improvement project citywide of the things that we want to see and not just necessarily designating, that's going to happen this year, it's going to happen in 3 years, but it's creating a plan of what, yes, we would like to see these things happen. So we've started that process and we would like to incorporate, like that plan would be a capital improvement project.
It's just something that it takes a long time to do, and it would be diligent to start that now. But, we could talk about all these things. It really would be better to have a strategic plan to kind of prioritize those things. Just my input.
Yeah, and
I think the facility should always be on there. We
Some
phase
grant
that.
funding should be
It should be a
available
phase
for
a year
that.
on that.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The
57
nature
acres?
facility ought to always be on there. It's a phased deal. It should be one phase per year, however we handle it. And I saw the phase prices. I mean, they're less than, idea was to do 500 a year. Some of those are less. Like, I think the next was 300 and something thousand, which is great.
You know, I think once we have this meeting with LJ next week, we'll be and have a little better communication with them. We'll have a better idea, I think, what we can do and or how to get that started, I should say.
The reason I hit the wall last time was because we were trying to get TxDOT to do it. TxDOT's not going to do it. So we just need to go, we need to approach it, but we're doing it. And if you create the bulkhead going both ways, you really created a space. So that's something that really should be a long-term priority.
Got it.
It'll be on the list.
Any other areas of focus, any other specific
I think
projects?
the best thing is
Anybody?
probably have all the board members email me and then you and I can get together and consolidate the list and so we don't sit here and talk about the same
Right.
thing
Sounds
over
good.
and over, you're right?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So if everybody's got 2 or 3 projects that's passionate about, because you probably take ownership of it, just so you know, so be careful what you put on there, because my plate's full. So, and Caesar's is too, so if it's something that you feel confident about, then please email it to me and let's figure out how to get it championed and get it accomplished. Does anybody else have anything? I don't want to cut anybody short, but at the same time, I don't want to sit here and talk, because there's 1,000 things we probably could talk about that this board could be doing. Because I know Caesar and I are working on a $1.5 million grant through Texas Parks and Wildlife. So this might have to go to 750 because it's a matching. And they're pretty confident that we probably will be awarded. So we'll hopefully know something here in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So we might be bumping that number and that would get 3 phases of the park done next year if we could acquire that grant. So there's a lot of moving parts to this budget, so. Ryan, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, I'd love to sit down with you and kind of go over some of the other numbers I kind of plugged and played, just from looking at years past and,
I guess my question would be like the parking terminal, what exactly is that?
yeah, that's one I was scratching my head on. I don't know if that we're talking about putting one of those arms in at the parking lot or something. I wasn't 100% sure.
I know I did talk to Bob at Galveston Bay. He's willing to have a conversation about an entry point for chemo. But I think the construction needs to get completed before we proceed forward. So I need to get a timeline on TxDOT on their completion because I don't want to put something out there and they tear it up during construction. So, but he is willing to have that conversation. We've had a couple conversations with Galveston Bay on that. So
You talking about the Kip?
it'll be 146 and was that Bay? Right there where they cleared off that property, that's Galveston Bay's right there on 146. It was donated to them.
No, I know, but how are you going to access it?
No, I'm just talking about just an entry sign.
Like
On their property.
a city welcome sign.
Yeah, like a
Gotcha,
welcome.
gotcha.
You come into Kima coming up north. I don't know where the exact point would be coming from the south yet, but
Did you ever get those renditions from?
I did, and we have a meeting next week to go over those renditions and kind of.
We paid for those. Don't let them charge you.
No, we're not. I just want to find out. It doesn't look that study was completed. It's kind of trying to find out where they left off with
Yeah,
it.
they actually had actual renditions of what they should look like.
They did.
Yeah.
It's just, they didn't go very thorough as to where they are. They want to know we're ready to reengage. We're not reengaging. I just need to be brought up to speed on where we left off. Because they had 5 possible locations and they submitted 3. And I don't know if that was ever brought to this group to review. So,
We had a subcommittee for that, but it wasn't brought to, I think it was temporarily brought to us as a whole, but it was a brief.
okay, good to know. Thank you.
okay. No action taken on 11A. 11B, discussion of possible MOU with University of Houston, SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation.
If I could please ask Ms. Amy Reed to join us here at the podium to speak briefly. SBDC is a nonprofit organization. They offer business advising, access to training, tools, and resources to help small businesses start, grow, expand, and succeed. I've had the pleasure of knowing Ms. Reed for a couple of years. We graduated Leadership Mainland together. But aside from being a great person, she's also very passionate about helping businesses, whether they're starting, whether they're new, or more importantly, in our case, is retention. We know that businesses suffer. We know that businesses have certain needs, and we want to make sure that our local businesses have what we need to reach out and have support. whether it's through additional funding, whether it's through marketing, whether it's whatever methods. I don't have to sell what you do. Please explain.
Yeah,
you
so
are.
I think the most important thing is that we do all this for free, right? So we are funded through the Small Business Administration partially, and then I'm a University of Houston employee as well. So our League City campus is funded through University of Houston. So through your tax dollars, we're able to support small businesses where they're starting or growing for no cost. You've already paid for it. So with all the rooftops I'm seeing going up here in Kemah, that's going to bring more businesses. So we spoke and we thought that this is a great opportunity for us to not only support your current businesses that you have in Kemah, but your coming businesses. And what I've also found over the years, I've been doing this for 15 years. And we've always, we include Kemah as Galveston County. We cover the entire county, but I was telling Caesar, I don't see enough Kemah businesses come in. And I don't know if it's they don't know we're there or everything's just thriving over here in Kemah. I'm not sure, but I'd like to change that. So the MOU, part of the agreement would be that when we have functions, City of Kemah shares it. When the City of Kemah has functions that are for small business, we share it. So there's the advertising, marketing going back and forth, but there's also training. So we do training all throughout the county. Today, we had a large entrepreneurship resource fair at the Doyle Center in Texas City. We had over 27 vendors and over 100 people registered to come. So this was all for small business. We could do something like that in this area. We could do small workshops. We do a lot at local libraries and that sort of thing. So basically just us partnering together to figure out what does your business community need and then allowing us to help with that. And won't cost you a penny.
I also felt it prudent to have her here come before you, although the MOU would be with the City of Kemah. She's also not available to be here tomorrow night, but I did want to make sure that she had a chance to present this program.
Thank you.
Would this be a KCDC initiative or would it be a city initiative?
It is a KCDC initiative, but the MOU would be with the city, being that it's a government entity tied to that portion of
Give me, yeah.
Go ahead. I know I've got questions, but go ahead.
Can you give me some ideas of some of the, seminars or things you'd put on for businesses? Like,
Sure.
what are some of the?
Pretty much you name it and we do it. I've been doing a lot of AI seminars lately, teaching small business how they can use artificial intelligence. But we do marketing seminars, strategic planning, sales, communication, financial literacy. Usually I don't teach those. I bring someone like Frost, Amagi, Texas First Bank, one of them in who are the pros. We also have partnerships with local CPAs who come in and talk about what people should look for on profit and loss. Do they even know what a profit and loss is? QuickBooks training, a little bit of everything, business plans, we do it. And then we take them through the whole process. If it's time to expand, we have relationships with all the local lenders. So we know what lenders like what types of businesses and industries so that when they apply, they go to the right place and put their best foot forward. Did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I got the brains turning.
Okay. Any questions you have, I'm happy to answer.
I mean, I think we have a lot of local businesses that, I don't think this is national chains, but Kemah is very unique and we do have a lot of local businesses. That's what got my attention to this. We have a new Italian place and we have some really unique stuff that in talking to them, I don't think they understand the power of social media in my conversations with them, just one-on-one. So, but if we could hook them up with somebody like this, I think it would enhance their ability to understand that there's the power of social media right now because it is huge. So
Certainly.
that's where I saw a huge benefit because, I mean, we probably have 25 very unique businesses in town. Some of them are very successful, been there for a long time. Some of them are new and we seem to have a big turnover in this town. So how can we maybe help those businesses be successful? So, and as you said, it's free. So,
And certainly for us, also for business placement, sometimes they'll get businesses that come to them and say, hey, I'm thinking about having a business. Where should I go? It also helps us be an actual destination that she can share resources. The more she knows about the city and her team knows about the city, the more that they're able to promote Kemah as well. One of the things that I looked at too with the community center, the fact that we have access to the community center, some of these events could be held at the community center to give that building the maximized use and bring some of the residents and some of the businesses to the community center to maybe have one of these lunch and learns or have one of these sessions where they can come out and learn about what they can do to become better. And best part is it is already funded.
Yeah, that's
So-
amazing. That's,
it's ever changing. I mean, the market's ever changing. I don't think people realize how much it's changed.
yeah, and particularly like you said, with all the sole proprietorships we have here, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean,
Absolutely.
either coming to their place or going to the community center, it's a no-brainer.
I guess my question that I have that you brought up when you were speaking is, you said strategic planning, is that something you could help KCDC with?
Not through the SBDC.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I do that independently, but I can't do it through the SBDC. Yes.
So if we wanted to schedule.
I can
some of
refer
these-
people though. Mhm.
So we want to schedule some of these programs. We just call you, once we sign this, we just call you and you set it up.
Yeah, as soon as we have the
So we
agreement in
request
place, we just need times and then we need to probably figure out a plan. Do we want to do a sequence of workshops that tie together so you try to get people to come repetitively or one-offs, if you want to do every quarter, every month, twice a year. We partner already with several cities in the county, so everybody does it a little bit different. One city does every month, another does once a quarter, and then one does twice a year. So we can just kind of work with you on your schedule. We just need a little notice.
Would they achieve some kind of certification? They get some kind of certificate? that
So
takes place
there's-
this course?
Very seldom. So if we have like a speaker comes in who is certified, then they can offer a certificate. But most small businesses don't need a certificate to know how to social media, how to use social media in their business. But we can refer them to programs out there like HubSpot where they can get certifications if that's important to them. So we have to stay on top of free resources for small business, free bookkeeping services, free social media, email marketing. So we can refer them to them, then they can get the certificate if that's important to them. But we don't provide that.
And what next phase would be, we'd get together, look at what's our inventory of space, when is it available, what classes interest us. There's an inventory. Hey, listen, we've got some of these folks available between here and here. Here's our whole calendar. Does this work for everybody? We'd bring that to the board, be like, hey, here's what we'd like to start offering. We agree, we promote it, it gets posted, and then we start promoting that to our local businesses and encouraging them to
I guess
attend.
Caesar's question to you is something we put with Mike, our fire inspector, because he goes to every business once a year. And
Absolutely.
some sort of flyer educating them of the services.
Every
that-
single time, with every single new CO that they would
Right,
get some
give them a
information.
deal and Inspection report and all that, but just another benefit would be these are the services that are being provided.
Here you go.
Our cards are in a
Just
lot
so
of
they're aware, 'cause
permitting.
We got some
Yeah.
business like on
Yeah.
Anders that they're there, but I mean, they're not really open for retail, but there might be some retail opportunities that.
And there might be a new widget that they can create or a new
Right.
piece of equipment that they need that would allow them to bring X amount of businesses or X amount of jobs to the community. There's definitely a lot of potential there.
I'm just thinking, figure how you could get to him. I mean, he hands-on does inspections and usually talks to the owners, so.
Yep.
And be handing it to them.
That's-
face-to-face Instead of an email or mail out or.
It's got to be physically go.
That's what I'm saying. That
That
is.
is-
Because he goes out once a year, so I mean, he's physically touching these businesses.
That's certainly a discussion we would have.
Just a mechanism to make it effective, because
Put it in their hand.
how much junk mail, I mean, I know mine, I get 80% of mine's junk mail every day. It just goes straight to trash. I'm like,
Got to reach them every which way that we can.
They do a lot of email marketing for the courses they're going to do. So I participate in them and I've been around.
if you're not aware of it and the benefits of it, then you're probably not going to engage in it.
Right.
Somebody shows you the benefits, or at least explains those benefits, and maybe it's something that this board takes initiative and we go knock on doors and make sure everybody's aware of it too. 'Cause
Right.
it wouldn't take that long. I think there's 330 businesses, so it's not like it's a Houston where you got
Right.
5 million.
Right.
So, I mean, it's something you can get your hands around. So it's something maybe we look at as a board too, and take that initiative, and maybe do quadrants or something to assist them in knowing that these services are out there and to take full advantage of them because they're free to them. So.
Absolutely.
We actually talked about this years ago. And this actually, I'm ecstatic that you do this because
Mhm.
we talked about like offering, we on the board, we talked about, we were doing like a small business coaching, offering new businesses or like a free advertising for them for so many posts or, I mean, it's pretty cool that you do this.
Look at us just checking boxes off. We're
Yeah,
just checking
nice.
boxes off, and it's free. It's all grant funded. So, like you said, it's already been paid for. So,
It's the best.
Any other questions? Thank y'all for having me.
although this is not an action item tonight, but we did want to bring it to you all so you understood what we were doing that because it is an effort and initiative through KCDC, but the MOU would be with the city.
I guess, is everybody in favor of this? I mean, I'm just gonna make sure.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I know it's not an action item, but I'm just double checking that.
awesome.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I mean, there could be some legwork on our side once this gets passed back from the city level, so
Thank you.
things tend to drop. So I want to make sure this is something that we focus on next year. 11C, consider impossible action to include a city transportation initiative in the next budget cycle to include advertisement on all vessels.
So if I could,
Back up.
I'd like to welcome them back forward for us to have this discussion. I wanted to have this discussion based on where the starting point is. Also, Mr. Ross is the new executive director, who I had the pleasure of meeting and working with. So the idea of this MOU is not only for it to be looked at from a KCDC perspective, but I felt the need for a budget perspective. I felt it worthy of coming up during budget discussion, is to find a mechanism with which this would help many sectors. Many times folks come to Kima to visit, but they don't have transportation. This would alleviate checking off that box. So there you would argue and say that maybe a portion of this service could be paid through some hot funds. You've got a lot of seniors and veterans that need to get to the VA or need to get to their clinics. Well, that becomes a city function. But also, in discussion with some of our businesses in the area, one of the biggest factors they have is their employee base comes from the San Leon, Texas City, Bay Cliff, Lamarck, Dickinson area. That's where the workforce is coming to come work in Kima, because the entire workforce does not live in Kima. Having said that, the biggest barrier to getting some of those folks here has been transportation. One of the biggest barriers, especially for some of the folks that work in some of these hands-on jobs. This mechanism provides that, and I believe that would fall more on the KCDC side. As you know, it's not just bringing in sales tax dollars, but also increasing employment and employability within your city. Having said that, that's where that is a portion of what could be tackled. The caveat that I think is the most impressive to me is we've talked about advertisement and specifically low-cost advertisement. Through this initiative, one of the options that would exist is for us to have essentially, and I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but at-cost advertisement available on every one of their vessels. So how great would it be on these vessels that are now traveling all over Galveston and Brazoria County, which a lot of our visitors that come here are from all of Galveston and Brazoria County and in between. Seeing Kima on every single one of these vehicles. That's something that I think is very, very appetizing to what we're trying to do. And when I say it costs, we looked at some of the cost factors depending on what size we go for. We're talking about several $100s at the most per vehicle, depending on how much space you'd want to take. They literally have offered it to us as part of this agreement at cost. Now, that is another added benefit that really puts Kima in people's eyes as much as possible. We talked about marketing, how we're going to reach folks. This gives you, hey, it's in your face. Hey, here you go, sign up here for this QR code. Hey, don't forget, we've got this going on. It gives us a chance to really market Kima at something that's already there. It is a walking, well, in this case, riding billboard that goes everywhere. So not only with the patrons that are traveling on it, but more importantly, the visitors that would be coming to and fro would have the opportunity to see Kima everywhere, specifically in that part of town that we get some visitors from, but we could always use more, which is that Brazoria, Angleton, Lake Jackson, that all you guys all the way throughout Freeport. So we already get some folks that come from that general area, and this allows us that opportunity. So they've got an entire presentation that goes more in depth. They can actually come out and do workshops with the community as well to express exactly how this would work for them. More importantly, I also have Chief here. He and I went and visited with the Huntington, up to 200 residents, 148 units, so roughly 148 units up to 200 residents, most of which Chief and his staff have had a very hard time getting out of there. In case of evacuation, this agreement also comes with all these folks would be evacuated to the central hub. So as part of what they do with the county, that's part of what we're biting into. We don't have to worry about those folks. We have discussed as part of this, you would assist in evacuating these folks should an emergency occur. So for this case of safety and emergency management, that's another caveat of this program. And every single one of the vehicles is handicap accessible. The only other thing that would be involved in that, did I miss anything? I mean, I'm not.
No, you got it. That's on point, because, hurricane season, we are currently speaking with Brazoria County Office of Emergency Management as well as Galveston County, and we are the transportation hub that provides that evacuation services directly from the individuals' homes to lily pads where they will, get on vehicles if they have to be evacuated further. And then after all is said and done and they return, we return them back to their homes. So that's a part of the transportation initiative that we provide.
And it's been made very clear to us, Huntington does not have any type of no generator accessibility. So half the time when power goes out there, we would have to evacuate those folks before the power went out. Otherwise, fire department would have to bring those folks down the stairs. So we're part of our emergency planning is creating a plan to get those folks down before the power goes out, with enough window to evacuate them and get them off to safety. This is not an action item tonight. Again, we're bringing this to you since it was the beginning of your budget discussion. This would have to go through a lot of different loops, obviously, to share the wealth on the actual agreement should we choose to move forward. But it does offer you a transportation system, which is a large part of what KCDC would look to do as far as connectability within your city. As folks look at it or discuss it, how do you explain this to folks? Best way that I was able to describe it is, I call it government Uber. There's an app, you can call for a ride. There'd be a vehicle that'd be stationed here and hubbed here.
Designated for Kima. So that vehicle would not leave, Kima would be designated just for this city, with a driver.
With another vehicle coming in and out as need be, that need to go anywhere else within the zones.
Is it a van?
We have cutaway buses, we've got big buses, little buses, it just would depend on what the load was at the time.
Yeah, and all of them are handicap accessible, equipped. We have a large clientele where we take riders to their dialysis appointments, pick them up. So all of our vehicles are equipped with ADA standard.
And dialysis, who goes 3 times a week, that's something we put on a subscription ride. So once they book once, they don't have to ever book again. All they got to do is cancel if they're not going that day. So every week they're going. Most of them go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So we cover them on that. You got to think about, we're like we want to be a Houston Metro. We want to be big, but we're small. People in Houston Metro ride because it's there, it's easier. The people that ride our bus is because they don't have a choice. They don't have another vehicle. Senior citizens, I've talked to many who have told me how great it is that they don't have to depend on somebody else to take them to the grocery store, to a doctor's appointment. They don't have to depend on nobody. Other people, younger people, can't afford a vehicle, can't afford the insurance. They're able to get to work. This opens up a lot of worlds to new worlds. And I want you to recognize and understand that every dollar spent on transportation comes back to you as $4 in economic relief. So there's a big advantage to it. And like Mr. Garcia was talking about the advertising, we do quite a bit with in both counties, but when we first started talking about it, I thought, that would really be great for Brazoria County to see something from Galveston County. We don't have a whole lot of cross county doing that advertising. We do have people that cross county. We have a guy that lives in Hamilton, works in Texas City. So he figured out how to work the system, and he comes to work for $1 one way and $1 home. So
It's cheaper.
And one of the points, pastor friend of mine has an elderly mother that he had to keep taking off work to take her doctor's appointments and various things like that. But with the services that we provide for his elderly mother, we take her to a doctor's appointment, we take her to the grocery store, we take her to her hair appointments. That gives him great relief that he don't have to do that anymore, because our services provide that for his mother at 50 cents one way, $1 round trip.
One thing I was not aware of when it came to the numbers was the fact, and one, when we met like with the Huntington, the fact that they have about 10% of the city's population is within that building. If you really think about that, we've got 2,000 residents roughly, and roughly 200 residents. So 10% of your population, and we know those almost 85% of that population is considered vulnerable. So you've got folks that we would need to possibly transport in case of emergency and or for daily transport needs, whether getting them to the doctor, getting them to the grocery store, getting them to the pharmacy.
That place is 55 and up, and I have a real hard time grasping that. I'm
Why does that qualify?
I did not know that, and that is one of the nicest 55 and up places. I think I told Chief that about 10 times.
Robert,
and
I
I
got
wish
a
I was.
question for you, if you don't mind. So your district expands past Kima, so is Daryl FL on board with this? Because I know you got Summerbrook, you got Lavano.
Right, I don't want to, give some bad information.
Right.
But we can certainly follow up on that.
Sure.
I mean, how we draw the lines, I guess, with the services, is that gonna be kind of, because your district goes outside of ours, so I mean, that's why I'm just kind of,
And yeah, just strictly speaking for obviously the city of Kemo
Right.
in this instance, because, you know, now, but I would still say statistically, we're, the amount of times that we're going to the Huntington versus, say, Summer Brook or Levano, it's substantially more. And again, you know, some people are down there enjoying the amenities, you know, making
Right.
it, and then other people are, you know, in wheelchairs.
I just see a lot of people walking for Levano grocery shopping and
I do
walking
too.
back. So I mean, this would be a service, but it's in Galveston County. It's not Kima. It's right outside our city limits. But that's the only reason I bring that up, because you see a lot more walking traffic. Maybe that's just you get exercise. I don't know. But I mean, at the same time, I think they might not have a second car and then you go grocery shopping. So this could be a service that, I mean, they got 1,000 residents just in those two complexes probably. So
Yep.
they're half the size of Kima with just two complexes.
Yeah, just
So.
we're, the last time that we counted up, it is just above 9,500 is what we calculated for between Kima, Lake Shores, and the unincorporated now. So, I mean, it's getting.
Right. No, I know it's growing substantially, so.
Right, because like I said, some of these people are truly, non-weight bearing status and, they, you know, time for a storm or evacuation, but it's gonna be, challenging.
And we're here for more than just this. You know, a few years ago when we had the freeze, the mansions in Texas City, management up and left the people there. They weren't able to get anything. So emergency management in Texas City called me, said, hey, can we get some buses out there for warming stations? We took them out there, sat there all night long, and they brought the food and the coffee, and people came down out of their apartments, got in the bus, got warm, and then stayed all night or went back to their apartments. So we do a lot more than just transport the day to day.
And the flip side, for summer, we do have provided also some cooling stations, right?
In Brazoria County,
Brazoria
Galveston County, we haven't, but we do the cooling stations. We give them free water. We also do the Wounded Warrior here in Kima. We've done that every year for the last 14 years. We used to do the Kima from the boardwalk back and forth on certain holidays. Quite a few years ago, I was a driver then, before I moved up to this position, but we haven't done it lately.
Is there an opportunity to make HEMA in your rider zone?
Yes,
That's what we do.
You changed the map?
yes.
Right. And
Okay.
Robert, do you have a place for this van to reside? That was my next question. Not to cut you off. Do you have a place for this? I know the ambulance sits at your facility. Do you have a place for this van to reside when it's not being used? I mean,
No.
I guess that'd be my next question is where would they reside?
It would stay in Texas City at our home base and drive up here.
I think it'd be used quite a bit though. That's what I'm thinking. It'd be
It's
used.
going to be from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. It will be in the city.
And then it goes back to its hub back in
But if
Texas
there's a
City.
break in between, I mean, is there a place to?
If it's not busy, we'll put it on pause and set it at a corner store or move it to the Walmart parking lot. Because honestly, right now, so many of the residents from San Leon and Bay Cliff are having to go all the way to Lamarck Walmart because we don't do Kima. So at that point, I can guarantee you the trips between there and the Target and the Walmart that y'all have are going to grow a lot. So we'll probably spend some of our downtime in that area. That way it's just a quick trip back and forth.
But currently, none of our drivers have downtime. It's go, go, go.
No,
Yeah, and then what Darren said earlier, because I'm glad you said it, because I see people from the Huntington always walking
right.
to Walmart. And so that's a ride they could set up. They can call and go from.
Correct. For 50 cents
So-
each way.
A few years ago, my great-grandmother wanted to come and move here with us in Kima and spend some time with us. And she's from Arizona, where they have a very similar program. They call it Dial a Ride. And senior citizens for $1 can get a trip to the local senior center or their doctor's appointments and whatnot. And that's really what she was used to at the time. She came up here and she saw the lack of services that we had available to someone of her age who no longer drives and no longer had the ability to get around on her own, and ended up going back home to Phoenix because she determined that her quality of life would decrease significantly if she stayed here due to the lack of these services.
Wow.
Some food for thought. I'm saying how most of y'all residents are 55 and older. It would help with that as well. And not everyone, even the people who have kids that can get them mobile, if they are strictly in a wheelchair, not everyone's vehicles are capable to handle that either. So this would help with that as well.
And with our coupon books, senior citizens can buy the books, then they're paying about 35 cents a ride. So like you said earlier, we don't make money off the fare box. We're government funded.
I can tell you for a fact, it got posted on Kima Crossing already, and I've been going back and forth with the young lady how to find it here, but, I mean, I'm assuming she's a veteran, but that's one thing she brought up was there's no way for her to get to the VA hospital at Akima Crossing already, so.
There'll be people in Chemo Oaks. too. I
Tammy
mean,
Miller, I don't know.
We do have
You might
several
wanna-
elderly
Yeah, I
residents.
say, you might want to reach out to her, but we've kind of gone back and forth. She'll take the initiative and promote this any way she can by the text we've had back and forth.
And that veteran services is, economically, you can't beat that. $3.50 one way, $7 round trip. Private company took a guy and I was just blown away, but they charged him $275 for private transportation just to go there, from Galveston to Michael E. DeBakey in Houston.
Let me
We
ask you another
call
question.
it
So,
the veteran service, but it's open to everybody.
That was my
Anybody
question.
can book that trip for $3.50 one way.
So anybody can book it, anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
And it puts you right there in that medical plaza. So it's not only Michael E. DeBakey Hospital, but you have Fannin Towers, Methodist Hospital. You have many medical facilities in that area. So anybody can book that ride for $3.50 and get there. And if they need to get anywhere else in Harris County or Houston, there's a bus line from Metro that they can get on and go wherever, and then come back in a reasonable time and come back this way.
What if I wanted you guys to be where the cruise ships are and bring people on the cruise ships to Kima?
That's a whole different, ballgame. I was dealing with port.
He said tourism.
Yeah, you're dealing with the port of Galveston, the cruise terminal, the cruise lines, and CC Winter Culture. That's a whole different conversation and stuff.
But what they could do, if they're coming off the cruise, they could go to Island Transit's Transfer Center, and we can pick them up from there, which is right across. the
You're just
street.
saying you don't have permission to pick up at the port.
No, we can't go into the port.
Right.
But we can pick up across the street.
Is it because you haven't talked to them or?
No, it's just a different process to get registered to get into that port authority. It's a totally different maritime and all that's a lot.
Yeah, but you can promote.
What about-
Go the opposite way and promote people, them taking them down there and dropping them off, and then they'll figure out somewhere to leave their cars here.
Yeah, because the reason I'm saying is because like a lot of people, and you can speak to this, a lot of people will come in from out of city or out of the state to come out of Galveston. Say the cruise leaves on a Sunday, they'll come in on a Friday.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, those people don't have a ride. They just come here from the airport or whatever, so bring them.
The other reason.
And we can get them
That's
to
fine.
Galveston.
No, we don't go to Kima.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if possible,
You said just go to Island Transit.
we do have a parking lot, and we have people that park at our facility and jump on our buses to go to Galveston.
And that parking lot goes right on Harborside and
Right across the street.
right across the street from the cruise terminal. So
Okay.
if there's a will, there's a way.
All right, I got you.
If they use our bus, the parking's free.
And we have the wheels that are the way.
How are your drivers vetted? How are your drivers vetted?
Our drivers,
Yeah, how are they vetted?
how they're.
Vetted,
Vetted, yes.
there's a background check through DPS. And,
And they have to, all of our drivers have to go meet the Tech dot standards. And so.
DOT.
The DOT, drug test. And we hire both CDL and non-CDL. Marcus, you can.
Yes,
15 passenger.
Marcus is our director of
Yeah,
transportation.
we hire both CDL and non-CDL. We have to go through our DOT, they have to go through a DOT physical, whether they're CDL or non-CDL. DOT drug testing, we have, our random drug testing, everything is by the book when it comes to hiring. Background checks, everything. So anybody that gets on our bus is safe, okay?
And then, not to cut you off, but then they have to go through a 40-hour classroom training and a 40-hour behind the wheel training.
Before they can
With
drive.
the drivers.
Sounds significantly safer than rideshare companies.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And all of our vehicles have cameras, dash cams in them, and we're fixing to upgrade that. But we can see forward and we can see reverse. So if they pick up a cell phone, it sends us alert. If they run a stop sign, it sends us alert. If they go over the speed limit, we've got to set it at 10 over, but we tell them 5 over, it'll send us alert. If they're distracted driving in any way, if they're going out of the lines, or
Tailgating.
fall asleep, we'll know it.
Wow.
Nice.
So don't get behind one of those
Yeah,
things.
Ray, this goes back to what we talked
Especially
about
you.
quality of life. I mean, my mother lives on 96 at Grand Living. You know, if she needs to go to the doctor, go anywhere, it's me and my sister. Luckily, she's got us, but we need that safety net here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really just a question of how we're going to pay for it. I mean, we'd be
So-
remiss if we weren't doing this for our people.
This is not an action item tonight, obviously, but we wanted you to, again, since we are starting that budget discussion, we felt it prudent to bring it to your attention now for your consideration, so that if you want us to tie that in and possibly see how we can fit that into next year's
My
budget.
last question is how does your budget cycle work? January to December 31st, or is it like ours, September to October 1st?
It's October 1st.
Okay, so it'll be on the same, so we're not,
We're government.
okay, it makes it a lot easier for us to, we're not very good about prorating this thing.
And if you do go that way, that gives you a seat on our board. And then you could be, yourself, or you can have an alternate, you can have a proxy.
And we do ask that you do show up. A voice is always great, and it does help with the quorum.
And actually, I do apologize. It is an action item if you choose it to be tonight. But obviously, if you want to incorporate it into traffic, into the conversation,
Probably be part of the budget discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I would suggest tabling it to the next meeting and let's have some conversations about how we get it in the next year's budget.
certainly. But what the direction, is there an appetite for us to consider it in our planning?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was,
Yes.
even though it's not a votable item, a
But I would like to
consensus,
I
but
would like to get with Daryl and see about Lavano and Summerbrook, and, because I mean, that is a big part of our community with those people coming over here and working and stuff.
Mhm.
because
Lazy
of-
man.
Yeah, late, well, I don't know, so, way older, yeah.
And also with town halls, if you all did that, we come in and train all the residents at their facilities and locations on how to download the app, how to book the ride, have town hall presentations on, how to book the ride, how to download the app, how to get the services, things like that. So
Could
that's a
you-
continuation process.
Mr. Sykes, would that also be a possibility to our two biggest employers in the city, which is the Boardwalk and Walmart?
Yes, we
Okay.
can provide any type of training regarding our microtransit services.
And just so you know, we just separated from the Gulf Coast Center in basically 2020, 21. Daryl was part of that separation, so he knows
Thoughts?
what we do.
I just know it falls into Robert's district, is way bigger than ours.
Right.
So how are you gonna draw that line? Because we have that problem right now with emergency service and who pays with Galveston County, because it depends on the address, because Kima's mailbox goes all the way into League City.
Right.
So there's just some confusion there because of the way it's just set up, because we got multiple districts.
Right.
So.
And if you
how
could
do we
help us
manage
answer that
How
question
do
as
we
well.
control that? And maybe it's part of the deal. I don't know. I mean, that's what I say. I don't know if that would, because you're not talking, we're 2 miles square, so we're not talking any distance.
You're talking about possibly going, what, a
It's not-
quarter, a half a mile outside of the city limits?
Well, Summerbrook's further than that probably.
We draw our borderlines.
Right.
With our system. So
GPS.
we have the flexibility to, if we needed to put Kima, if Kima became an MOU, we draw that line and put Kima in that, and it becomes that city that, supports it. So we have control over that.
We're talking about Huntington's further down 518 than Lavano, so it's confusing to residents because they have a Kima address, but they're in Galveston County. They're not in our city limits.
We'll see.
So there's just a confusion inside the public, because I mean, I get calls all the time from Summerbrook asking me how, when I was on city council, why I voted a certain way. I'm like, you're not even a constituent of Kima, but they carry a Kima address, so they think they have a voice.
If it's Galveston County or Brazoria County,
The thing about it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's a Kima address, it's within our service.
But when we
Well, then that would-
drew the lines, and
They
then
go
we
in
started
League
getting phone calls, hey, I'm right
Within the
here,
city, yeah, with
we can
Kima
bump
address.
the line. We bumped the line quite a few times into League City.
Well, that's why I say, do we do it off of Robert's district? Because Robert's district different than ours,
and what
as
we
far
can
as
do,
emergency services.
we can invite Robert in, sit down and look at his district. and
Just something to look at. I mean, if we
They
can.
can cookie cut it to what you need.
And that way there's no confusion, because we have lots of confusion because they carry a Kima address.
Because Kim address is far.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we go all the way.
to eliminate that, we can, like, I've been in several meetings with Robert with the emergency management, because I do go to both Galveston and Brazoria County Emergency Management, so do our safety staff. We have a safety team at Gulf Coast Transit District, so we can meet with them, look at their mapping and zoning and areas.
Maybe we can deflect some of those costs too to Clear Lake Shores and then Darrell. If that
We
district is
could-
gonna be WCI 12 instead of Kima city limits. I mean,
I
this
would-
is stuff
I
we
would-
have to
I would-
talk
I would-
about.
I would
Very
entertain the
interested. I
topic.
think there's more conversations need to be had
Absolutely.
and see how we can perfect this where it's not so confusing to the general public. Good way of putting it, I guess. Because there is a lot of confusion. Because they get mail from Kima, so they think that's where they live.
Well, thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank y'all very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll get back with y'all.
You didn't have anything to say, ma'am, over there? Nothing to say?
Thank you.
Item 12, executive session. We will go into executive session at 7:03.
Just no motion, just a bunch of emotion.
No action.
Great to see you, man. All right.
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet you too, sir. Pleasure to meet you, sir. Pleasure. We'll definitely be in touch, I'm sure. Chief, if that works for you, I have no problem with it.
Thank you very much. All right, you have a great day.
If that works for you.
Yep.
I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. You just give me a call tomorrow on the way.
I will.
All right. I will tell you. I got you. Y'all have a good one.
It's like, where's Waldo? How can you just dress up for Halloween?
This is probably all of it, so. Okay, well, there's nothing, it originated in budget 2024. So there may be something in there to be multiple. Oh my God, that is so bad. Oh, look here. It's something. It's not a parking tunnel. I feel like this would be more than. What I'm saying, this originates.
It was on, 2025 was the first year it was on the budget.
Yeah, but did they do this on our, did you, like, the big project for them, or? That's all I see on the website. So they would have just, this was on here back in. This is in the. That's what I'm saying, like, I wonder if this project was like discussed back in.
She was here. No, I'll go over this budget.
Oh, yeah.
Engineering.
Oh, because we got two of them here. Yeah, one is unrestricted, because they're still in the restriction base. Oh, the dump is closed.
Well, no, I mean, this is all public, right?
You're looking, 123 Main Street? 123 Main? 123.
But if they look on the agenda, they see it.
But, I'm trying to, you know,
Oh, no, I have no idea.
there's one that's undisclosed
flag.
Nothing but cakes. We're giving nothing but specifically cakes. I'm just kidding, we're
And a red lobster.
good. It's a draft, and you get going. It came, yeah, it came with the waffle, and it was fruit and bacon, but it actually has to be large kid meal, we started. They give you like a half of waffle, but it's big, I think it's like a lot of food and stuff, I'm hungry. I'm not